Explore your future and get started now. Visit GoBarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Just like always, Duke is extremely talented, versatile, got a big team. They're probably going to play, I think they want to play fast. I don't know if they'll be able to play as fast, but they're so big.
Yeah, I think it's them and everybody else. And a couple of weeks ago we would have said, it's Buffalo, and Buffalo goes into Kansas City. And look, Josh Allen has to play better. We talked about Buffalo's secondary issues.
Think about it. Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill. He said, okay, you know what, never mind. I'll just throw balls to 10 other dudes in the end zone. 10 other receivers have caught touchdowns from Patrick Mahomes.
He's got to get it figured out, man. I mean, this is not okay to be that reckless in these spots. I think you can get this figured out. He's still relatively young.
He went today. He's at the point where he can do this, play at a level that is going to allow him to go out there and play freely. And to a point, is he ever going to be 100% like he was at the game? No, but
the reality is that their non-conference schedule was terrible. It's still terrible. And overall, the strength of schedule for Michigan without a win against Ohio State or a Big Ten title is still going to be an issue in the committee meeting room.
Caught by Watkins, thrown to Smith. He's trying to throw it backwards. He's hit by Cam Curl. That is picked up by Casey Toohill in the end zone. It's a defensive touchdown to end the game. An exclamation point to end an undefeated season of the Eagles.
Lead pass now from Morrissey. Hops towards center ice, crossed over the line, moves right in for Shipley. A shot, he scores! Mark Shipley wins it in overtime tonight.
Didn't we listen to that yesterday? Was that the same one?
I think they all sound the same. Wasn't yours Moose is Loose?
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did the Moose. Okay, you're right. My bad.
Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Welcome into the Tuesday show. Steve Webster, your part-time host, in with you with the full-timers Mike Corson and Mike Hesher. You just dig a hole every time you come on the show. It lasted 15 seconds.
It was almost identical, other than the Moose is Loose. Is what he said yesterday.
Well, then that means Winnipeg's won 2 straight games then on overtime goals.
Very good. Don't you find that highly coincidental?
What are you saying?
I have no idea. Anything.
Oh, it's great to be back here on the program.
It's great to have you back, Steve.
You know, this is the best time of year when your phone goes off at least once every 35 minutes with a Medicare call. Dude, I'm not that old yet.
Well, that's better
Don't
than getting.
call me.
That's better than getting a text at 6:05 in the morning.
Do we want to go down that road today?
No, we do not.
Okay. Do you?
He's gonna nix me again, isn't he?
Man, I felt like all the King's horses and all the King's men coming in here this morning trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again after Hesh ran rampant through the studio for 4 days. What are you doing here, really? I mean, do you try to reinvent the wheel or what?
I just try to make sure people can hear what we're trying to do.
Mike Horson's good to see you, man. This is a sports show, so is there anything you want to add to the program here today?
I sit in the same spot every time. I have no idea what either of you do back there.
On today's show, the voice of the Hoisington football Cardinals and Barton Cougars, Cole Reif, is going to be on the show. Voice the Kansas State Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. You just perk up, don't you? That's good. And this should be the best segment of the year. Get Off My Yard.
Oh, boy, am I ready.
You're just ready to go, aren't you? Tuesday Sports Headline sounds the past 24 hours. It's great to be, and thanks, guys, for filling in, because I'm going to be gone some more here. Thanks for being here, Hesh, because of you, I'm going to be able to take all my vacation days this year.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Ready to go, Mike?
Let's do it.
Okay, all right. Norm Roberts, he's going to be on the sideline for the Kansas Jayhawks again tonight, talking about Duke. They play tonight, Champions Classic. KU 7-6 in the, or 6-5 in the Champions Classic. Duke is 7-4 all time. Kentucky's 5-6. Michigan State 4-7. Says Duke's big, but they got big guys that can shoot 3-pointers. Maybe they won't run as much as they have in the past under Mike Krzyzewski, but that'll be the second game tonight. We'll have the doubleheader for you here. We'll have Michigan State and Kentucky. Pregame at 5:30 here on KVGB. That's from ESPN. And then on Hits 106.9, you can hear Brian Haney with the call with the Jayhawk broadcast at 7:30. So 2 ways to listen tonight.
Okay, can I clarify that? 1590 will have a national broadcast of KU. Is that what I heard? Okay.
The doubleheader broadcast.
Okay, thank you. Well,
comes your way at 5:30.
I'm just wanting to clarify because I would prefer to listen to somebody other than Brian Haney.
Now, see, okay, that is an option for you.
It is. Thank you.
We're going to have the Michigan State-Kentucky game first, and then we're going to bring you Mankato State against Minnesota Duluth at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Okay.
Man, I missed you.
Divorce papers have been served. That's all I can say.
Mike Tannenbaum. Have the Chiefs regain their number 1 ranking? He says hands down. I don't know if it's hands down or not, but Chiefs all of a sudden back atop the AFC standings now with Buffalo's recent struggles. Keyshawn Johnson says the Chiefs are the best team, at least for right now. Dan Graziano says Josh Allen needs to quit throwing interceptions. Have they found the magic defense for Josh Allen all of a sudden, the way we thought they might have found it for Patrick Mahomes? Obviously, someone's come up with something. The Jets started it, and he struggled again last week, or on Sunday, against the Vikings, who are really, really good.
Maybe when you throw a football with a broken arm, it doesn't always go the direction you want.
Who needs the ulnar medial ligament or whatever was injured?
Josh Allen.
Yeah, but his elbow was fine against the Jets when he was throwing those interceptions. I think someone's on to something.
Yeah, but when Mahomes has a bad game, we do this too. Oh, it's finally happening. They adjusted to him, and then 2 weeks later, he's back on top. It's going to be wide open down to the finish. As long as both of them skate into the playoffs any way, shape, or form.
Listen, I think Josh Allen is a tremendous talent. I think he needs to take the next 3 or 4 years off. Make sure that elbow is recovered well enough that he can continue to play and have a successful career.
You guys know that it's a game of adjustments. So the Chiefs have adjusted to people with Tyreek Hill being gone, and the people defensively, they will adjust to what the Chiefs are doing now as the teams have adjusted to the Bills. So, and now the Bills have to readjust to how they're being played.
I agree.
Finally. I can leave now?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I just hope the Chiefs are watching what everyone else is doing against Josh. The Chiefs don't want to go to Buffalo.
You know, the trick, it's the coin toss. I was having flashbacks the other day. They need a better coin toss. I don't know how you game plan that.
Another coin flip. You always call heads.
Do you practice?
It's always heads. Our crew uses a 2-headed coin, so it's always going to be heads. You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, knowing who your referee is, I don't understand. I understand that. Then
true.
He's from Larned as well.
He'll be able to drive at some point in the future. Just kidding. Will we see injured quarterback Jalen Daniels back on the field for KU this year? Lance Leipold doesn't like talking injuries any better than Bill Snyder did. So while he's working out, is he going to be back 100%? No. But we hope to see him back in the next game or two. Very disappointing game for KU, I thought, on Saturday, losing that game to Texas Tech. Again, they had an outside chance. It was fun to say, yeah, they've got a chance to get in the Big 12 title game.
And as they were coming back.
But that's now out. Texas is in, then they close the season at K-State.
As they were coming back Saturday, you're thinking, man, yeah, once again, how did KU go from just this terrible program to having a backup quarterback doing this? And they still fell up short, but I just don't know that he's a terrible drop-off.
No. Kansas has had a great season, but you see they need to build depth up in that program. And they don't have any. 2:30 kick Saturday in Lawrence. And, of course, we'll talk K-State football with Wyatt Thompson. The Wildcats go to West Virginia Saturday. That'll be a 1 o'clock start. And West Virginia, heads are rolling right now. They fired their athletic director, Shane Lyon. So we'll talk about that with Wyatt Thompson. Heather Dinich.
I thought that was Heather.
Yeah, you did. You knew that. She says the only way Michigan gets in, they've got to beat Ohio State because their schedule stinks. Monday Night Football, the Eagles lose for the first time. The Commanders. Look out for the Washington Commanders. Casey Toohill picking that ball up as they were trying to throw it around to make it something happen, and it cost him a touchdown. 32-21. So the Commanders hand Philadelphia their first loss. And the call on Power 97 in Winnipeg. Mark Sheffley wins it in overtime for the Jets, 3-2 over the Kraken. Is that the same call you had?
It was 3-2 in overtime. I do not think it was the Kraken. So, but that seems awful coincidental. They won back-to-back games, 3-2 in overtime.
I didn't know what you did yesterday.
I know.
If I took your hockey call.
Well, we just made an agreement that we're going to have a hockey call to end the sounds of the past 24 hours every day. At least when you're not here.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. I thought maybe you wanted an NBA game or something.
Well, I did one, and that was enough of that.
You hear that Kraken?
That was his phone.
A new franchise, and they came up with a really neat mascot.
Boy. Okay.
See what happens when you're gone.
I don't know. It's not good things happening when I'm back. I know that. Let's see. Also on the show today, we're going to be talking with Barton Community College Sports Information Director Todd Moore. Cougars are out of the national tournament. Lady Cougars falling today to unbeaten Tyler, Texas, 2-0. That's kind of goofy, isn't it? You play 2-0, or you play at 9 o'clock in the morning against Tyler, who didn't play yesterday. That's hard to play, I would think, is back-to-back soccer games in a national tournament.
Especially in the morning, and then you're going to be 1-1, and you got the number one team in the nation, and that's it.
They don't have pool play? It's like...
Well, that's what a pool play is, but it's a 3-team pool.
Oh.
So Barton ends the season 17-4-2.
I'd be curious to see what the other teams that advance out of their pools do against Tyler. I'm not sure they'll hold up 2-0, so it's just unfortunate you don't go through when you play a team like that close.
Motlow State is who they beat on Sunday or Monday 3-0. It's Monday for me. That's down in Evans, Georgia. So we'll check in with Todd coming up here in just a little bit. Oh, and I haven't followed the Royals very close. I don't even know if this is how you say the guy's name. Did we figure Matt Quattrero? Does that sound good enough for you?
I think so.
Or Matt Quattrero. Anyway, his new bench boss is Paul Hoover. The Royals announced that last night. Seattle's Julio Rodriguez and the Iuka Hustlers' Michael Harris II, pair of 21-year-old outfielders, Major League Baseball's Rookies of the Year.
What does a bench coach do? They keep throwing out names, and I'm like, yeah, but you just get paid a lot of money to sit there and watch the professionals do what?
Let's take a look at the way this show works, okay? Hesh is our bench boss. He's over there. That was wrong. We played that cut yesterday.
But we ignore him.
Can you...
This is true. Oh, okay. You do ignore me, yes.
Man, I'm glad you're here. Okay, coming up, Cole Reif's going to join us. We'll talk about the Cardinals game against Southie. You talk about a team that reminded me of Kansas City. I'll get more into it coming up. And Wyatt Thompson, Todd Moore, full packed house show today on Sports Day.
Learn the skills you need to get started in a new career in as little as one semester with Barton Community College's workforce training programs. Get real-world experience in fields like carpentry, natural gas, plumbing, scales tech, and welding. You can earn money while you go to school because most classes leave you with plenty of time for a part-time job or apprenticeship. Classes begin January 10th. Sign up today and start your new career. Visit GoBarton.com to get started.
Premium diesel, we're born to fuel. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn to reduce particulate matter and keep filters cleaner for longer. Fuel your equipment like a pro with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and leave typical number 2 diesel to the amateurs. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op and Gray Band, your certified Cenex distributor today. You know, everybody is looking for a way to save money, and I do want to let you know that Nextech is committed to keeping you connected. They are participating in a new government-sponsored program. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, otherwise known as ACP, and it will help lower the cost of internet service for eligible households. Find out more when you stop on by Nextech at 10th and Grant at Gray Bend, and just ask about that, okay? You could save up to $30 a month on the internet with the help of the government and Nextech. No kidding. Scott Donovan inviting you to get involved here during the Shopping Over the Holidays $10,000 shopping spree. Stop on by and check out that special QR code that we've got for you today, just right in the foyer at 10th and Grant and Gray Bend. You've got till 5 o'clock to get yourself qualified, courtesy of Mater Plumbing, Heating, and Air, your Brian dealer, and Bauer Computers. Yeah, we want to make you, a little richer. $10,000 shopping spree right in time for Christmas. The giveaway date on December 16th.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Reif on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Most difficult thing for the Sports Day crew today is make sure they don't have food in their mouth. That was... So what do you have?
I always go with the chicken strip melts. And Corson's like, what are you, 7 years old? Grow up. It's not an actual chicken strip. I mean, there are chicken strips in the melts, but they throw on some Swiss cheese.
From the page, right?
Melted,
yeah,
from Perkins.
Perkins, okay.
And then they throw in some bacon in there, and then usually you have a little cup of ranch that you're able to dip it into as well.
That was your...
Oh, it's good.
Okay, you're going to be mad then. That's what you were looking for?
Yeah, I mean, that usually helps. Did you eat the ranch, or did you
Well,
use the
yeah,
ranch?
because I was looking for ketchup.
Okay,
there wasn't any ketchup.
No, it's okay. It's still very much edible without ranch, but if you had ranch...
That was your... You want...
No, I'm already
Do you
done.
want some...
I'm done. No, you keep it. No, it's fine. I mean, you needed that one, too, so that's good.
All right. Cole Reif in with us. Have you warmed up?
Oh, about halfway home. I felt pretty good, but I left my coat on the entire way home Friday night from Gibson, 4 miles west of Gibson.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but that was, and usually I'm pretty good because I wear double socks, and one of the pairs of socks is thermal, and I'm usually pretty good. But Friday night, for whatever reason, it just went right through my feet, and I was going down that spiral staircase at Southeast, and I thought my foot was going to snap in half because it was just so solid. But no, it was. It could have been worse. It could have been windier, but it was pretty cold. It goes in there in that top 5, top 6 category of us being outside and having a cold night. So
I just can't. I just don't understand how you can broadcast football outside. It's just make room. Those guys, the school board members, they can go sit in their car.
Yeah, I mean, for me, we always whine about it, but it's always kind of one of the unique things of two-way football. Not saying that I thoroughly enjoy it. If you said, hey, you got a spot in the press box, would you take it? Yeah, I probably would take it. But it's also kind of one of the unique things about small class football that I kind of enjoy. The only time I get mad about it is if it's going to rain.
If it's going to rain.
For equipment purposes. I can handle the cold. Wind kind of sucks for broadcasting coming into your mic. But for the most part, if it doesn't rain, I'm game. So it's kind of one of the unique things of calling some of the smaller class football games.
Okay, as I was watching this game, the thing that kept coming to me, when it was 3rd down and 12, it was like watching the Chiefs play, right? It's 3rd down in high school football. Those are hard to execute and get the first. No, not with Southeast. I mean, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. I would put it right there because how many big plays did they get 3rd and long or in tough situations.
Yeah, I think we were talking on the show last week, the fact that what stood out to us, they don't have a ton of big plays, but they never seem fazed by anything. It doesn't matter if they get behind the sticks. Like you said, they had a 3rd and 18 that they converted. They had another long 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 12 that they converted a 4th down. So they just never, and that's the thing. I don't know, and they have punted, but I don't know if Mitch Gebhardt is almost kind of taking the philosophy, said, I'm going to roll the dice. If we're anywhere close to midfield and we have a 4th down, if it's 4th and 3, 4th and 4, I'm probably still going to go for it because, you like the chances of the ability of Luke Gebhardt being able to roll out and extend things, and then obviously falls into the RPO category with his ability to run the ball. So, yeah, they were really impressive. And I thought in that first half that you saw glimpses of what we talked about, some of their flaws. If you're going to nitpick on some of the things that you could capitalize on, he almost threw 2
picks.
Yeah, he almost threw 2 earlier interceptions. He finally threw one that on a deflected pass at the end of the first half that was somewhat meaningless because time was winding out.
But again, it goes back to the Mahomes thing.
Yeah.
No one can catch his passes from the other team, it seems like something.
Yeah, so Hoisington was really close, and then they had a Hoisington punted. It hit off a Southeast player that they nearly recovered down near the 25-yard line. Southeast fumbled it at the 6-yard line. Couldn't recover that. So I felt like, that first half I was feeling pretty good, especially when Hoisington drove the football down, had it inside the 5, potential tying touchdown to make it 14-14 early in the second quarter. I felt pretty good even down 22-7 at halftime, though. Okay, hey, we're going to get some more chances. But that second half rolled out, and man, Gebhardt did not miss much in that second half. When they threw the ball, he was on target. There's a lot more guys open in that second half, and they were nearly mistake-free outside of not converting on that 4th down to start out their opening drive out near midfield. They were nearly mistake-free in that second half, and that's the thing that stood out to me is I thought Hoisington played pretty well. I thought they played pretty well.
The game plan, it couldn't go any better, right?
Yeah, so I'm sure there's some technical things that they could clean up, but I thought they played, one of their better games, and they were still 23 points on the wrong side of the scoreboard. So that to me just kind of stood out how good Southeast was this year, or is.
Okay, let's what do you think their chances are, man? Kingman and Southeast.
That's a juicy matchup, right? Yeah, if Hoisington was going to get there, this is what everyone was looking for. And I don't know where I stand on this. I almost think I almost think Kingman has the personnel to maybe guard or cover Southeast a little bit better. But the other thing is, if you can't get pressure on Gebhardt and contain receivers, you're going to have an issue. You have to have both. Because if you're going to just blanket those wide receivers and then Kingman can keep up with them, Gebhardt's going to make pretty good choices. And he buys himself time. And, he just sits around there and he's so calm in the backfield, whether it's on the run or standing in the pocket, mostly on the run. He buys himself time, and he's going to make a good decision eventually, whether it's running the ball or trying to find a receiver. So if you can't cause some havoc on him and cover, you're going to have an issue. But I don't know. That's a really good matchup. Kingman's allowing less than 6 points a game defensively, so it's been really impressive what they've been able to do. I don't know. That'd be exciting. I haven't seen Kingman. I've seen a little bit of film, but obviously what I've seen from Southeast, it always makes you want to side on that direction. But it'd be a good matchup.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hopping place, man. Kingman had a football game that big in that community. Can't even remember the last time.
Yeah, they went to the semifinals last year, but it was kind of not a fluke by any means. They were good, but it was still a year early.
Right.
They went out to Beloit. Beloit was the favorite last year on the west side. So, I thought it was a year early, and they made a pretty good comeback against Beloit and made it interesting at the end. But, yeah, this year, you talk about expectations and the possibility of going in there. And I think, whoever wins that ball game is not going to be scared at all in that state championship game. Nemaha Central is probably really, really good. I expect them to beat Sabetha, but, I would definitely favor the West this year after a couple of state championships from Rossville. I'd definitely favor the West this year.
Okay, what's coming back?
I like it. I like it a lot. This year, next year is going to be fun, and I think the questions will start to arise 2 years from now. After this next senior class, 2024, if you will, class graduates, then you're going to have a few more questions. But I think going into next year, you have your whole backfield back. Tony Moore will have his second season as a starting quarterback. Taryn Kraft really came on strong at fullback at the end of his sophomore season this year, so you still have 2 more years of him. And then you might even kind of develop that dynamic duo of having the stellar quarterback in Tony Moore and then getting a little bit closer to having that featured back that Hoisington has had for so many years, if Taryn Kraft can take it to another level going into his junior season. Wingbacks, you lose Chase Steiner, but, I mean, Chase was amazing, but I think he can be replaced offensively. I mean, Jason Robinson, who was injured the last few weeks, he comes back. And then you have Mason Alderdice, who turned into one of the better speedsters in the CKL this year. He'll be back. So your backfield's looking pretty strong. Offensive line, it takes the hit. You had all that experience this year with Cole Gillen and Logan Filburn, and Jace Reese played really well, and you plugged in some other guys. Caden Hoffman will be back. That'll be good. I imagine his younger brother, Leighton Hoffman, will be starting at center next year. And then you have guys like Caleb Berzer that'll get some playing time on the offensive line, and he was in and out. So I think experience, and you probably have another guy that was probably in the backfield this year switch to offensive line. I think your O-line is going to be pretty good, and having all the backfield coming back, defensively you return a ton. Obviously in 2A it kind of goes on both sides of the ball, but yeah, I feel really good about next year. And I also feel like when you look at what everyone else loses, you talk about Southeast and Kingman and Beloit, Hoisington should stack up pretty well on an even playing field with the top teams in the West next year.
Well, Jason Robinson, you know, the Robinsons, after their freshman year, it's like they're a little caterpillar, and then they come out in the spring and they're like a giant moth or bud. They just grow. So maybe he'll be the answer at tackle. He can do his 1 year Robinson offensive line and then come back and, you know, rush for like 1,500 yards the next year.
Yeah. Legend had a little bit more size on
well,
Jason,
I'm saying
that'd be impressive.
They all of a sudden they grow up big. Okay, and you're back on the road in the Jayhawk tomorrow.
We're starting up conference play mid-November. Yeah. I mean, it's cool because like hardly any other conference in the entire country, any level, has conference play that starts up in mid-November. But the Jayhawk does. 24-game schedule starts tomorrow.
I know it's 24 games, but man, it's still better than.
Oh gosh, it's way better. I like it.
Bowling Tech and all those unforgettable November matchups, Cole, that we all remember. Cole, thanks a bunch.
You bet.
Glad your voice is back too. I was really concerned about.
I was concerned
whether you're
going
to be doing.
I was grumpy for a couple of days.
Cole Reif, Wyatt Thompson coming up next.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Reif, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Welcome to your new home. The high-rise in downtown Great Bend is currently accepting applications for our newly renovated one-bedroom low-income apartments. Our building is conveniently located close to shopping, dining, and entertainment and provides stunning views of downtown and beyond. Rent is subsidized and based upon your income. All utilities included and pets are permitted. Learn more or apply at gbhaks.com. Great Bend Housing Authority, equal housing opportunity.
Hi, I'm Martin Kearney with Farmers Bank and Trust. A lot has changed in the last 115 years, and Farmers Bank and Trust has been there every year, growing with and serving Central Kansas. Today, customers bank at their fingertips using mobile banking and mobile deposit, enhanced with card management and alerts. Our knowledgeable employees make your interactions easy and convenient, however you choose to bank. Ask us today. Local people making local decisions for 115 years. Experience what Farmers Bank can do for you. Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Wyatt Thompson, voice of the Kansas State Wildcats, joining us here on Sports Day today. And Wyatt, congratulations. Of course, you were inducted in the Kansas Broadcasters Hall of Fame. And, you know, if I ever get something like that, I mean, like maybe Uncle Ned would show up. You bring in Bill Snyder and the All-Star cast, man. That was pretty cool.
Well, it was awesome, buddy. I appreciate you bringing it up. And I will say this. It was an honor to be inducted. It was an honor to have my family and people like Coach Snyder there. Think about this. It was on a Sunday night, and you know what coaches do on Sunday nights? They game plan, right?
Yeah.
And Coach Kleiman even made an appearance, which I thought that was so awesome. You know what? And I even joked about the video. We had to put together a 5-minute video, and Brian and Preston from our staff did that, and I mentioned that they did such a great job. They made me look way, way, way better than I really, truly am. So it was a fun night for sure.
So your favorite quote, or my favorite Wyatt Thompson quote is, you know, I'm just my dad was a pig farmer from Solomon, you know, so that's not bad for a pig farmer's son from Solomon.
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, I tell young people that want to do this for a living all the time that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Why not? I didn't know what I was doing, and I was very, very fortunate in my early days to have great instruction. And I don't even know if I'm being perfectly honest that I knew at the time the kind of instruction from the kind of people I was actually getting. You know this after the fact, but the people in Hayes, whether it was Bob Schmidt or Bob Templeton or in Goodland with Kay and Marty Melia, those kind of things. Those guys are Hall of Famers too. it kind of helps, you know what I mean? It just is what it is.
You know, it's there's so much. You know, people think that Wyatt Thompson, he just goes to those games. You know, he does the football games, he does the basketball. You do so many other things with the university that I don't think anyone knows about. But that, I think, has endeared you to the Wildcat Nation over the past 20 years.
Well, you're very kind to say that, Webby. I mean that sincerely. I try to do that. And to give you an example, I love Amy Button-Renz at the K-State Alumni Association. And when she asks help on anything and everything, I say yes always. And part of the reason is because over the last 20-plus years, I have seen her make, I can't tell you how many Catbacker Tour stops. You know, yes, they help sponsor the thing, but, you know, it's a commitment to do that. I mean, in the old days, buddy, we were out there from mid-May to the end of June and making 30, 35 stops. It's a little shorter now. So she was a warrior. So, yeah, I like to do that. And, you know, hey, it's a pretty good job when your job is out there talking about the Wildcats. Right?
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It sure is. Wyatt Thompson joining us here on Sports Day. Okay, I've got a big question. The Cats coming up, you know, and a huge win over Baylor. But the most important question that I was thinking this weekend. So tell me about this new place they put down there on the Brazos River. How it compares to that broom closet press box that they had at the old Floyd Casey Stadium.
You can't even compare it, and I'm glad you brought this up because, you know, we get spoiled at our level. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. And Floyd Casey was, in its day, I'm sure a palace, but it was pretty worn out by the time I got there. And I wish you could see the new facility, McLean Stadium. As you said, it sits right on that river. It's a beautiful look to the south. The press box is like being in an NFL stadium, to be real honest with you. I mean, it's just so great. And then to go in there and do that when you're expecting a hard-fought, tight, tense game and you win 31-3, you kind of live for those days, Webby. It's just kind of what it is, man.
All right. You didn't. I'm going to bring this up because I want this question answered before the press conference at 1 o'clock today. So I want to know about Will Howard and kind of explain people, you know, this is a unique situation for Chris Kleiman and what's going on, and kind of give me the background on that and then where we are at today.
Well, if you go back 2 years, Skylar Thompson's the quarterback here, and Will Howard is a true freshman from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, which is about 45 miles from downtown Philadelphia. He's a diehard Phillies fan. You're a baseball guy. You will appreciate that. And I give him a lot of guff because his Phillies beat my Cardinals out of the playoffs this year and went all the way to the World Series. But that first year, remember now, that was the COVID year, and he came in here with no summer, very little training in the fall camp because of COVID, and 3 games in, he's in the fire. And people forget that he actually won his first 2 starts, but he struggled at times, and I've always appreciated Will because he, for an 18-year-old kid, he took it like a man. He would come to those press conferences that you talked about and would stand there and answer everything. And he worked on his game and has just, 18 games in now, it's slowed down for him, as the guys like to say, and he's really slinging it right now. I mean, he's just playing great. And he's just the best kid because not everybody could fit into that role and do it like he's doing. But he's all about team. And I think a lot of that comes from Coach Kleiman. A lot of it comes from Colin Klein, but a lot of it comes from him. I've been very fortunate in my time at K-State to be around some really terrific young people. And I mean this sincerely, man. He's as good as it gets with that. He's all about the team, could care less about all the numbers and stuff. He just wants to play. And you know what? He can play. He's proven it.
So what would you say to the K-State fans? Say, it doesn't matter, man. We just want our quarterback out there, red shirt season be damned.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, and I hope people understand what Coach Kleiman was talking about there before. The goal was, in the very beginning, after last season, to try to go out and get a quarterback that had some more experience because – Sky was here for 6 years, and Will was just coming into, a third year where he hadn't played a whole lot. So you can understand why they would want some experience, if nothing else, just in the quarterback room. And if Will wins the job, so be it. But then Adrian Martinez happens, and everybody was excited about that, and should have been. I mean, he's a nice kid. He does everything right. I know he lost a lot of games at Nebraska and made a lot of mistakes, but he hasn't made a lot of mistakes here. I mean, he was in game 9 before he turned the ball over. So I don't think K-State would be where they are right now without Adrian Martinez. But with that said, and trying to redshirt Will, when you're playing late in November in this league and you've got a chance to win the conference and or play in the Big 12 championship game, you kind of have to do that, and the red shirt kind of becomes secondary. And that's kind of over the last month what's happened. If you remember when he first went down at TCU, and Coach said all along that, hey, if Adrian's helmet pops off, we'll send Rubley out there for a play or two, but Will's really the backup guy, and then that's kind of how it's played out. Hope that answers it. Okay. It's been kind of complex, but again, I can't stress this enough. The way both of these guys have handled it is unbelievable to me.
But the red shirt's off now, right? I mean, it's
technically he still has one to play.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but I think the short answer is yeah. I mean, there's a lot. We'll find out more about Adrian at that presser you were talking about here in a little while. But man, oh man, I'm hoping he's still available. There's some thought out there that he could miss, a few weeks. And unfortunately for us, there are not a lot of weeks left. There are just 2 in the regular season, and then what we hope will be a really good bowl game and hopefully a Big 12 championship game appearance.
Yeah, one of these days, Will Howard's going to have a full season. So that'll be good.
Yeah, how about that? That'd be pretty good, right?
Okay.
I think it would be good.
I've heard this a lot in the Big 12. We've seen the parity and stuff, and some teams beat other teams, and then a team that and I hear matchups all the time. How do you match up with so what you've seen from this Kansas State team this year, what matchups type teams or offenses and defenses favor the Wildcats where maybe in another situation it doesn't? And we've seen some of those games this year in the Big 12.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Harder for me probably to answer than a guy like Coach Kleiman, who has forgotten more football than I'll ever know. But I do think, let's just take the last couple of weeks as an example. I think it's safe to say that matching up athlete for athlete against Texas is not much fun. They have 4- and 5-star guys all the way across. They have great size and athleticism. That's hard. I think coaching, scheming, good kids, knowing what they're doing, that's how you compete with Texas. And unfortunately for us this year with them, they jumped out on us early, and we adjusted, but not as quickly as the coaches wanted to defensively, and we fought back and got within the possession, and we're driving to tie it late when we had the last turnover there. But it's hard to match up with them. Then the next week with Baylor, you're thinking it's a similar team in terms of size, maybe not quite from the athlete standpoint, but they've got really good players. But for whatever reason, I think K-State was able to neutralize them with a really good offensive line with their defensive front, and probably that front grouping of, whether mainly they're playing a 3-3 kind of front there. And so it just seemed to fit better. I'm probably not technically answering the question as well as you'd like, but it is, think about it this way. The teams that have given K-State trouble are the teams, at least defensively, that really are sound fundamentally, gap sound, and tackle like crazy. Tulane did that. TCU did that to Deuce a little bit. Not so much when, things are different with and I'm just being honest about this, it's harder to defend, or at least it seems right now, to defend Deuce Vaughn when Will Howard's in the game because of that ability to use the vertical passing game. And he's just, the numbers indicate that he's just better at it than Adrian through the course of this season, even though it's a small sample size.
What happens in Morgantown Saturday?
Well, that's a good question. I worry about it from the standpoint of they're always pretty darn good at home, and they're still fighting for their bowl eligibility life, so I think we will get their best shot. But I do think they have some warts. I mentioned in a local show here in Manhattan yesterday that K-State has given up 19 touchdowns this year. That's extraordinary. West Virginia's given up 42. Wow. And I think that kind of tells you the difference of, but again, it doesn't always play out that way, but I think K-State's the better team. They just got to go out there and play. And if they do that, I think they'll be just fine, regardless of weather or whatever it might be.
Jerome Tang era underway for Kansas State basketball. Early returns, very promising. And, of course, the story Keontae Johnson. But good things happen in the men's basketball program right now.
I really like what's going on, even though it's just 2 games in, plus an exhibition, plus a little scrimmage in Kansas City against Southern Illinois. You can see them getting better and getting used to playing with each other. I've said, and I've quit saying it, that K-State has 2 guys back from last year, and that's it. But those guys weren't coached by Coach Tang. So, in essence, we really basically have 15 new guys. And it takes a little bit of time to get them all on the same page and time for them to gel and play together. They need this non-conference to get ready for the rigors of the Big 12. That's a pretty obvious statement, but it's so true. But I thought the leap that they took from the exhibition game with Washburn to the opener against University of Texas Rio Grande Valley was really a big step. Then you go to Cal, and my goodness, you only shoot about 38%, make only 5 threes, and yet you're up 20 and you win the game by 9. So they're playing really hard, playing really good defense, and I think they're going to be a fun team to watch because they are so athletic and so lengthy. I mean, they have length and athleticism galore and lots of guys with versatility. I think the only issue that they will have from time to time is that, and this happens with some teams, I think we'll go through stretches, Webby, where we'll struggle to score. But on nights where we're making shots, I think they're going to do just fine. They're pretty good.
Jerome Tang plays the crowd very well. Is what you see is what you get with him?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's been really amazing since the day he stepped in here. I mean, I jokingly say he didn't hit a home run in the presser. He hit a grand slam.
Yeah.
and he's just kind of kept at that pace. He's been all over campus. He's been all over town. He's not afraid to tell people we need you and be there and be good fans, yell for the right things, and cut out all the nonsense. And I respect him for it. He handles his team the same way. He respects those guys. He wants them to do everything the right way. I can just say this: in the little bit of time that I've been around him so far, I can't think of anybody that has probably been more ready to be a head coach for a while. He's really done a great job of kind of getting this thing back going in the right direction. And, we'll have our bumps in the roads as we go, but I think the future is so bright because he's put together a staff, Webby, that can recruit. And I know you follow this, but, we have 3 commits for next year already, and I can't say them by name yet. Well, I could a couple of them, but I'll hold off on that. But we're talking about basically 2 4-star guards and another kid who's kind of wavering between a 3 and a 4-star guy. So it kind of gives you a sense that we're going to get better as we move forward. And if this year is kind of the starting point, so be it. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay, I'll let you go with this one, Wyatt. I know you need to get going to the press conference here. Okay, tell me about travel plans. Do you white knuckle it in and do a belly landing in Morgantown, or because it's? I mean,
it's a great question because we most people don't really realize this, but we actually don't. The airport's small enough in Morgantown, we can't charter in there with football or basketball either, for that matter. We fly into a little town called Clarksburg, and it's about depending on the weather, anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes through the hills of West Virginia to get from Clarksburg to Morgantown. This will be a little interesting trip, and I'll tell you this very, very quickly. Stan and I will be staying the night Saturday night after the game in Pittsburgh, and we fly to Miami Sunday morning and then to the Grand Cayman in the afternoon. Basketball there next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, fly back Thanksgiving Day and do the KU game next Saturday. So here, we're ready to go, buddy. Sleep's overrated, right?
Yeah, I can just hear people out there say, boy, poor old Stan and Wyatt, boy.
Oh, heck yeah. You'd be crazy not to look at it like that, right?
That's better than my Lincoln to Indianapolis to West Lafayette and then back to anyway. Wyatt,
yeah.
I always appreciate the time that you share with our listeners here in Central Kansas, and hopefully we can do it again here, especially if K-State gets in that Big 12 title game. That'd be awesome.
All you got to do is call, my man. Always love talking to you, Webby.
All right.
Stay well, my friend.
Okay, sure will. The Hall of Famer Wyatt Thompson here with us on Sports Day. Show rolling on after.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Learn the skills you need to get started in a new career in as little as 1 semester with Barton Community College's workforce training programs. Get real-world experience in fields like carpentry, natural gas, plumbing, scales tech, and welding. You can earn money while you go to school because most classes leave you with plenty of time for a part-time job or apprenticeship. Classes begin January 10th. Sign up today and start your new career. Visit gobarton.com to get started.
Attention taxpayers. If you're facing IRS debt you can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of the new Taxpayer Relief Initiative to free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing, the IRS has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. You may qualify for significant tax savings. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number stored in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-219-3123. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or you even have years of unfiled tax returns, you may now find the relief that you need. Call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-219-3123. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-219-3123 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-219-3123.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Back on Sports Day today, and the Barton Lady Cougars soccer team in action today down in Evans, Georgia. They come up short to Tyler, Texas, by the score of 2-0. Second meeting of the year between those two teams after they had a 2-1 overtime match earlier this season. But it's Tyler, Texas that advances on into Thursday's semifinal round. Todd Moore, Barton Community College, sports information, and he watched the game today, called the game. Tough one, Todd. Season, it's never easy when the season comes to an end, especially in a tight game like this.
Yeah, it's never easy, but, the girls played really well and represented Barton really well. And, unfortunately it's got to end sometimes, but they gave it all they had. They left it all on the pitch today.
How close were they getting to that tying goal there in that second half?
Man, we had some opportunities, and we even had our leading scorer that had a few opportunities, and it just wasn't our day on the shots. We missed some opportunities that we could have, would have, should have, but I think probably Tyler probably says the same thing, so it probably balances out. But, we really felt if we could just get that tying goal, it would totally flip that game.
And they'd been back in overtime, and it had been perfect. Then you got into a shootout, and the Lady Cougars would have won, right? I mean, that's the script here.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're familiar, both on the men and the women's side, we're familiar with overtime. So, yeah, if we could just get them there, that would have been really nice. But, Tyler had a team that we're not quite used to. They started off in the first half. They basically had 5 attackers and left 3 back on the defensive end, and that's something we haven't faced. And for us to hold them to 1 goal in the first half and outshoot them, that was pretty incredible on our part, with all things considered. And their first goal, our defender and their attacker collide, and our goalkeeper and another defender were just like a half step late, and that allowed that first goal. So, but that's soccer, and they took advantage of the opportunities, and we didn't. And then about 10 minutes left, beautiful shaped shot from, probably 35 or 30 out probably, and there just wasn't anything we could do on that. But that, overall it's a good week, good trip.
How tough is it to come back a back-to-back game in the national tournament?
We set out some goals yesterday that we wanted to obviously score and win. We wanted to score at least 3 goals because that's what Tyler did against Motlow. But we got to play the bench. Our girls they weren't real tired yesterday, and they really wanted another shot at Tyler. And so you've got a little bit of adrenaline there, but I really don't think fatigue was too much for us. I think we held our own for the most part. So
how frustrating is it to come so close to handing Tyler not 1 but 2 losses this year?
Yeah, I know. I mean, they're 22-0 for a reason, and they have 15 shutouts out of those 22 games. So they are solid up and down their lineup. Like I said, when you can send 5 attackers and put 3 back on the defensive line against the nation's leading scorer, that means they've got some talent on that back line. They've got a nice keeper and back line, and just makes it tough. But I think the girls, when the hurt subsides, I think they'll feel very proud about their effort today and their run in the national tournament.
What are you going to remember about this season, Todd?
Just that. This was a team that really came together. They're young. We lose a few people, but this is really a freshman-dominated team. And they just put it together and played together as one unit for most of the season. And they left it all out there. Even when they went down 2-0, you didn't see the heads hanging. It was just like, okay, here we go. We're going back at it. So that's one thing I'll really remember about this team is they were resilient even when they got down.
Wow, Todd Moore with me right now. Not bad for a Central Christian Comet. Okay, you sound like I'm talking to the play-by-play voice of the Sporting Kansas City today.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, I'm applaud you for remembering the Comets.
Well, that's how
your knowledge of the old-time high schools is on point.
Well, because I'm an old-timer. That's the reason you...
Well, me too, Steve.
All right, my friend. Hey, have a safe trip back, and tell everybody congratulations on a great year. Appreciate you taking some time here on Sports Day.
Yeah, thanks for following us. Appreciate all the support back home.
You bet. Todd Moore joining us here on the program. We'll take a break. Mike Hescher's really angry today. We'll find out why after this.
Let technology bring you closer this holiday season to loved ones near and far. With unlimited data as low as $25 a month, you can get the phone you want with the features you need from the best people. Next Tech Wireless. Keeping Kansans connected.
Venture Corporation is now hiring for a CDL tanker operator driver. We'll operate the same truck all week. New higher wages with flexible hours, no weekends, and time and a half over 40 hours. Blue Cross and Blue Shield health insurance, vision insurance, Section 125 cafeteria plan, 401k retirement plan with match. Venture Corporation is an equal opportunity employer. Women and minorities encouraged. Apply in person at 214 South Highway 281 in Great Bend. Online at venturecorpks.com or call Leslie at Venture Corporation. Homegrown, family owned.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Hi, I'm Jane. I wear dress size 8, but I usually order a size 6 first because I am a little bit vain. Well, what else do you want to know about me? I really like shopping online, I love searching for the best travel deals, and here is my entire browsing history. So,
nobody is this open on the radio. Why be so on the internet? Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Get the special offer at nordvpn.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Sports Day proudly presents...
Hey, you! Get off my yard!
A look at what's bugging our grumpy old sports hosts.
Hey, I haven't worked in a few days. I'm fine with the world, but man, my partner here is angry. Mike Hescher, get off my yard. What's up today?
This is not directed at you.
Oh, my God.
It's directed at companies that make you use your vacation time or lose it by the end of the year. Because you have to do that. So I am working a lot of hours here recently. So that is my... Just, if they have to carry over some time, let them carry over some time. My goodness. Okay, thank you.
By the way, I'll be here for tomorrow and Thursday.
I realize it and then one day next week.
Well, yeah, but I got to come in and get everything ready for the Thanksgiving shows.
I know. That's the only reason you're coming in on Wednesday?
Well, yeah, I've got...
Okay. Because I have no idea, as I witnessed on Friday, the things weren't done for me like they had been, and it was a mess.
And I have learned that when you do things for people, then they never learn.
I agree. And I will, when you're gone, I will know to... Watch for those landmines, as you like to call them.
Do you see that monkey up there?
Yes.
That's right there?
Right there?
Yeah, that was Ted King, because he said, we just find the next monkey, the next ape to come in and do the morning show.
Okay, well, Ted, come on in, bud. Yeah. You can share next week with me. It's invitations there, bud.
It's like running a nuclear reactor.
It really is.
Because at any minute, the entire thing can just explode.
Well, just like yesterday, I didn't pot down the music, and I got a call. We did not hear the birthdays because you weren't smart enough to turn down the music.
And plus, if you don't train your replacement, then people appreciate it when you're when you come back.
That's true, yes.
I've learned this. Don't expect any more help. All right, get off my yard.
I feel so much better.
Okay, good. And just literally, I mean it. Get off my yard. Talk to you tomorrow on Sports Day.